Hi guys, as you know, we're here at Inbox Awesome. It's an awesome event, yes, it's the early morning and we're here with Roger Chen. Now Roger, you are moderating one of the panels today, correct?
Yeah, that's right, the Building Bots panel.
Oh, hello, building bots. It's all about those bots. So you are from Genacast Ventures?
Yes, that's right. Yep, Genacast Ventures. We do seed stage VC funding in the US on the East Coast into B2B technology startups.
Love it, love it. So bots are definitely your world. So tell me, you've just come off the moderating panel, correct? How did it go? What were some bot companies that you quite gravitated towards?
Yeah, so I thought the panel went well. I thought that Inbox Awesome did a great job in bringing on great startups in the bot space.
Yes.
So on my panel we had 2 bots, 1 bot platform and 1 bot CMS. The 2 bots were And Chill and Shine, both doing very interesting things.
And Chill, I've heard this one. It's about like the movies you like and kind of, it's AI, right, about what you'll like, movie preferences, is that right?
Yep, that's right. And so I think their name is a spin-off of Netflix and Chill. And so they give movie recommendations through chatbots.
That's fantastic. So tell me, at Genacast, what do you look to invest in, obviously, other than AI and bots? Like, what are your verticals that you look for?
Sure, yeah. So at Genacast, we are B2B investors, vertical agnostic within B2B. So we've done investments in ad tech, marketing tech, cybersecurity. We're looking at industrial IoT, drones, robotics.
Oh, wow.
So the whole B2B gamut. As long as it's not a consumer app, I'd say we would take a look.
Fantastic. So tell me, what is different about the New York ecosystem for VC specifically, as opposed to the West Coast or even other countries? Like, what do you think New York really offers VCs, or VCs offer startups, that's unique here in New York?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I spent actually the most of my career on the West Coast.
Right.
I would say the biggest difference is that on the West Coast, things are much more saturated across the board. And so there are a lot more investors, a lot more capital there, but also much more fierce competition. So what I found in New York is that people are much more willing to help out, much more willing to make intros. And I think the investor to startup relationship is great here.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think there is kind of a community. I mean, that word is overused all the time, but there is a community, I feel, in the startup world here where people do help each other. That it's a little more aggressive perhaps in the West Coast, where people are kind of out for their own a little bit. Nothing against you West Coast folks, we love you, but definitely there is a ecosystem here that really gels and works well together. So tell me, I know that you worked for Google, you worked in their mapping department, so to speak. With that in mind, with your experience in that world, what's your take on the whole Uber mapping and the driverless cars, and where do you see that whole technology going?
That's I could speak on that for hours,
right.
But you've done your homework. Yes. So I think that there is a lot of excitement happening around autonomous cars. Certainly there are different people who are playing futurists and predicting it's going to be 5 years, it's going to be 10 years before we have the smart infrastructure in place for all of that. Yeah. I'm not gonna put a prediction out there myself, sure. But I do think that all of the investors I know are starting to look at the space. It's very exciting. Mapping and transportation logistics is also heating up again, and so I'm personally spending a lot of time looking at the logistics space around ocean freight, trucking, optimizations that have really largely been inspired by Uber.
Right, on-demand kind of economy, if you will, for the B2B space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On-demand sharing economy, I think, is still in the buzz.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really interested to know, you mentioned that obviously you're agnostic in regards to your verticals that you invest in. In that respect, what do you look for in an entrepreneur, startup CEO, founder? Like, what are 2 attributes in your experience that are really key to success?
Yeah, so if I had to name 2 attributes in a founder, I would say one attribute we look for is the ability to sell. And so the founder not only has to sell their customers, but they also have to be a salesperson to their employees to convince them early on when this company is like zero revenue that it's worth to join.
Motivational life coach people is important. Yes.
Exactly. You have to sell investors to say, okay, this is why you should buy into this and invest in our company. So salesmanship is definitely up there. And then the second one is they have to be comfortable getting their hands dirty. So getting in the technical weeds, if they're not a technical founder, if they don't have a computer science background, that's okay. But just be sure that you're comfortable speaking with the CTO, learning the language, and understanding how your company works in the back end.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's all very well having the vision, but if you don't know how to execute it or do it, optimize it the best way you can, then yes, absolutely. So we have two final questions, both equally important at ParlayMe. If there was an entrepreneur, and you can name someone here, you can name a partner, you can name one of your family members, is there an entrepreneur in the startup space that really inspires you, or you're like, wow, that's kind of the pinnacle for you, I guess?
That's a loaded question.
I know, and there's a lot of like I said, you can name some. It could be your yoga teacher. It doesn't have to necessarily be a startup founder, but just someone that inspires you.
Yeah, so there is a company that, as you mentioned, I spent some time at Google. We had a product there called Trips internally, which really optimized the employee spending for travel. And it's a really interesting take on an incentive structure. And so there's a company in New York called Rocket Trip, which basically took that model built in-house at Google and spun it out so that everyone else could use it. And so now they're selling to large companies, and these companies are able to save a lot of money on their employee travel spend.
Accountability, so no hiding those expenses, people. It's all transparent. That sounds awesome. So, they've sold. Where are they now? Are they here in New York? Or?
Yeah, they're here in New York. They recently raised their Series B, led by Bessemer. So we're very excited about them. I chose a company that happens to be in our portfolio.
Yeah.
But this is a company that is growing very quickly, and we're very excited about. And the CEO, Dan Roosh, is tremendous.
Fantastic. Is it rockettrip.com?
Rockettrip.
Guys, I'll put a link. Check it out. That's awesome. And our final but most important question: if you were to gamble, are you a blackjack, a roulette, or a poker player?
Roulette.
Roulette. He likes a bit of chance, people, a bit of luck. You've got to have a little bit of that. I definitely say every business needs it. Definitely got to have a business plan as well to back it up. Look, it's so awesome to meet you. Enjoy the conference. I know you've had your panel, so you can relax now. Yeah. You can mingle with some of the startup founders here. But awesome to meet you, and thank you. Thank you for your time.
Nice meeting you as well.